What if we are right? Constitutional Stacker did a video earlier today about what if we are wrong about precious metals and our investing in such. Most of us are counting on some type of appreciation in price, even if it's only to fight inflation over the long haul. And that was pretty much my take on his video, was that no matter what, even if silver kind of loses a bit of ground, I think over the long haul, we're doing better than if we hold our money in fiat versus silver, coins, gold, almost whatever. Copper's a little special. We've talked about that before. But what if we are right? What if we are correct in that there is going to be an astronomical increase in the price of precious metals, gold, platinum, maybe even copper? For sure, silver is going to go along with the family of precious metals if there is a large increase. Let's say that gold does something for some reason. We're going to speculate and say that it is justified, whatever the reasoning is. And let's say gold doubles. Let's say silver quadruples. What position are we in then? I know a lot of us are going to be shouting from the rooftops, "We told you so, we knew this was going to happen." But I'm talking about the situation that we're in at that moment. I think we're going to find ourselves in the position of a lot of lottery winners. And if you've ever watched some of those shows, documentaries, and sometimes even interviews, years later, sometimes they say it was the worst thing that could have ever happened to them. Anyone who knows about your collecting, albeit a friend, a neighbor, that information gets out. Now, someone like myself, I put my face out here on YouTube, not in this video, but there's plenty out there. When I do mailings, everybody knows. If you've mailed anything back and forth with me, I use my address. I'm pretty secure in the fact that I'm going to be fine no matter what happens, but you're welcome to find out. But not everybody is of that mind state. A lot of people like to keep their collecting close to the chest because they don't want people to know. But somebody somewhere around you knows that you collect, and that information could get out. If precious metals appreciate this much in such a short amount of time, and again, we're going to assume that it's justified and it's not just, here today, gone tomorrow as far as price increase. If this happens, are people going to start staking out coin shops to try to follow people home? I bet nobody, myself included, I go to a lot of coin shops. Luckily, most of the time I'm traveling and away from home, but I go to a lot of coin shops. I have never once specifically thought to look to see if anyone might have followed me home. Now, I'm pretty good with my situational awareness, and I haven't noticed anything that made me think anyone was going to do that, but it never really occurred to me in the day-to-day when I go to coin shops to look and see if anybody was tailing me that was, perhaps good and might be following me home to see where I live, and then analyzing my schedule to see when I'm not home and trying to get in at my metals. So what if we're right? What is your plan? What are you going to do if the prices of these metals do, even if they slowly creep up over a 3 to 5 year period? If gold doubles and silver quadruples, who knows what copper's going to do, but even copper could become highly valuable. I know a lot of us stack it in different forms. Copper rounds, probably not the best. Again, we've talked about this in the past. Copper cents even. Wheat pennies. I got a bag over there full of them. And just all kinds of other things. So if people know that you collect, a friend of a friend, somebody said something one time, that information's out there. And if the unscrupulous were to find these targets, and yes, I will use the word targets, because if metals increase that much, you are most certainly a target. You probably have more money, well, more value, sorry, in your home than any convenience store, bank that somebody could actually get away with, right? If you rob a bank, you're not getting away with much. If you rob a convenience store, you're not getting away with much because there's security, there's people around, there's cameras, there's all these things. How soft of a target is your home? And not even how soft is it actually, but how soft do people perceive it to be? A house is perceived in this day and age to be generally a pretty soft target, unless you see things outside, like an alarm company sign, you see cameras outside the house or things like that. But that's also a double-edged sword. A lot of people say that having those items also makes people suspect that there is something in that house worth protecting, which can also make you a target of sorts. So it is a fine line that we are walking, but I think your best bet is to, yes, keep things on the level, try to keep them as quiet as possible, try not to let too many people know about what you do, but if we find ourselves in that situation, make sure you double up on your security. You better have the best safe that you can afford to buy, even if that took selling some of your metals. You better have cameras around your house. You better have some kind of ledger somewhere that says roughly what you have and any distinguishing marks that you can find on it. You know, these are a little easier because you could snap a picture of it and all of a sudden you have that barcode and this information from this coin. But something like a piece of gold, you can't distinguish this from anyone else's if it's not graded, even if it's in a capsule or something. So you have to keep a ledger, and I would advise you, if something like that happens, I know we don't like to report it, but you want to make sure that you record that with your insurance company, because I guarantee you they're going to make you pay an extra premium to insure those items, and they're going to want that ledger. And as you add things, they're going to want that updated every so often. It's a pain, but if you have that much value and you want to insure it against things like theft, fire, damage, those kinds of things, you're going to need to do that. So these are things to think about, because I know most of us sit around and hope and pray that our investment, and yes, I will call it an investment. I do not delude myself. It is fun, it is a hobby, but it's also an investment of sorts. So if our investment does appreciate to the level that most of us think it will, we're going to be in a pretty sticky spot. And we're going to be in a position where we have, and a lot of people have not. And that's not always a good place to be in. So tell me what your thoughts are in the comments about if we are right. What are your rough plans? What's your idea of how you are going to continue to keep your investment safe? And I look forward to speaking to all of you in the comments. I appreciate everyone's time and attention. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.